All right, so are you ready to deep dive into the world of Sean Diddy Combs?
Oh, yeah, definitely I am.
This is going to be a wild one.
Oh, I bet.
So you sent over a ton of research for this one.
Oh, there's a lot out there.
Yeah, you got court documents, news articles,
Uh-huh.
even a YouTube deep dive, which was interesting.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
So Diddy obviously built a massive empire, but there's a shadow over his success.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to kind of unpack today.
That's the goal.
And it's I think it's a really interesting case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's fascinating.
Yeah, he's very carefully built up this image of the self-made man.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start going through these sources, you see all these allegations, controversies.
Yeah.
And it goes way back.
Well, let's go way back.
Okay.
Let's go to 1991.
All right.
A City College basketball game.
Okay, yep.
So this is, Diddy is 22 years old.
Wow, young.
He's promoting this big charity event. Yeah.
You know, Heavy D, LL Cool J,
May.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You know, everyone wanted to be there.
I bet.
Can you just, like, set the scene for us a little bit? Like, what was going on there?
Yeah, so it was a packed gymnasium in Harlem.
Okay.
Lots of excitement in the air.
Huh?
Diddy's already starting to make a name for himself as a promoter.
Yeah.
But the event, it was tragically overcrowded.
Yeah.
It seems like they cut security in half.
Really?
There's no way to track the ticket sales.
Oh, wow.
And the gym doors opened inwards.
Mm.
And when the crowd surged forward, those doors became a death trap.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So, 9 people died,
Mm-hmm.
and many others were injured.
Yeah.
And it seems like, you know, based on the sources we have, that Diddy's decisions directly contributed to that dangerous environment.
Yeah.
So do you think he got in over his head, or was there something more calculated? That's a good question. You know, instead of facing a trial, Diddy, he chose to settle with the victims' families
Okay.
for around $600,000.
Okay.
So on the one hand, you could say, well, you know, he took responsibility.
Yeah.
But then you kind of start to wonder,
Yeah.
you know, did settling allow him to avoid a deeper level of scrutiny?
Mm-hmm.
Did it silence any potential witnesses?
Yeah. That's a really good point. And I think it raises a larger issue.
Okay.
You know, like about accountability. Like,
Yeah.
do you think that settlement set a precedent for how Diddy would handle these controversies down the line?
Well, it's a pattern we see throughout his career. But let's not jump too far ahead.
Okay.
Let's talk about the East Coast-West Coast rivalry.
Okay.
So Diddy, at the helm of Bad Boy Records, he was right in the middle of all this.
Mm-hmm.
Biggie on one side, Tupac on the other.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I remember those days very vividly.
Yeah. But the sources you shared really paint a very intense picture.
Oh, yeah.
Of that era.
It was intense.
You know, gangster rap was exploding.
Mm-hmm.
The rivalry between Biggie and Tupac was fueled by record label competition, personal animosity, and just this atmosphere of violence.
Yeah.
It was wild.
It really was.
And Diddy's role in all of this is murky, to say the least.
Yeah.
There's a lot of speculation out there,
Mm-hmm.
but no concrete evidence linking him directly to either rapper's death.
Yeah, there's no smoking gun,
No.
but there's a lot of smoke.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think there are some events that definitely raise some serious questions.
Yeah.
Like, take the 1994 shooting at Quad Studios.
Okay.
So Tupac was shot 5 times.
Wow.
And Diddy was right there.
And he's always maintained his innocence.
Yes, he has always maintained his innocence.
Okay.
But Tupac very publicly expressed his distrust of Diddy after that incident.
Yeah, that's pretty telling, I think.
It is. It's a pivotal moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's crucial to consider the broader context here.
Yeah.
You know, this wasn't just a feud between rappers.
It was much bigger than that.
It was a reflection of a culture of violence
Mm-hmm.
and impunity.
Yeah.
And that was just becoming increasingly prevalent in the 90s hip-hop scene.
Right.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And the violence didn't stop there.
No, unfortunately not.
In 1995, there was another shooting,
Oh, wow.
this time at an Atlanta nightclub.
Okay.
Suge Knight, the head of Death Row Records and Tupac's close friend, he got into an altercation with Diddy's bodyguard.
Okay.
And during the fight, Knight's friend Jake Robles was fatally shot.
Wow.
So, Diddy claimed self-defense,
Oh, yeah.
but Suge Knight was convinced that Diddy was responsible.
Oh,
So this, this incident just further escalated the tension between the two camps.
right.
And I think a lot of people believe that it set the stage for the tragic events that followed.
I can see why people would think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, just a year later, in 1996, Tupac is murdered in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas.
Right.
And that case remains unsolved to this day.
Still unsolved.
But Kef D, who was a key figure in that case,
Okay.
has publicly implicated Diddy.
He did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Claiming that he offered a $1 million hit on both Tupac and Suge Knight.
Wow, that's big.
Now, it's important to note that Kef D's claims have been met with, skepticism.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And there's no hard evidence to back them up.
Right.
But just the fact that Diddy was connected to so many of these key players in this rivalry raises some serious questions.
Definitely does.
Like, do you think he was a target, or was he orchestrating things behind the scenes?
That's a good question.
It's tough to say.
Really is.
But 6 months after Tupac's death, the music world was shaken again by the murder of Biggie Smalls in another drive-by shooting.
Oh, wow. And Diddy was there again.
He was present.
Wow.
This time he was riding in a separate car.
Oh, okay.
But his bodyguard, Gene Deal, claims that he received a tip about a potential hit on Biggie that night.
Huh.
And Deal believes that Diddy was the intended target.
Oh.
And Biggie just became a casualty.
Oh, wow.
It's a chilling thought. It makes you wonder about Diddy's choices.
Yeah.
Like, did he knowingly put himself and those around him in danger?
Right.
Was his decision to ride separately a sign of caution or a calculated move to protect himself?
Yeah.
It's certainly a pattern that emerges in later allegations as well.
Oh, okay.
Like these stories about his parties.
Oh, yeah.
You provided several accounts,
I did.
of Diddy's lavish gatherings.
They're pretty famous.
Yeah.
Infamous, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Ostrovsky. He talked about seeing men spooning at one party.
Yeah.
Exhibit described being taken to a place that felt like a gay club. And even 50 Cent has made comments about Diddy propositioning him.
Yeah.
And all this just stands in stark contrast to, what happened in 1991.
Right.
Where a public event ends in disaster.
Yeah, yeah.
But these parties, they were very much shrouded in secrecy. It's almost like they were designed to create a sense of complicity and silence.
Right, because what happens at a Diddy party stays at a Diddy party.
Well, yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah.
And this theme of, Diddy and these young artists, it's also something that emerges from your sources.
It does.
And it's really where the narrative takes a darker turn.
Yeah, it does. So,
You're right.
you're right.
Yeah, let's talk about the Flavor Camp.
Okay. Flavor Camp. So what exactly was it?
Well, the sources describe it as kind of a mentorship program
Okay.
run by Diddy, where he'd take young aspiring artists under his wing.
Okay.
So on the surface, it sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
It's huge.
Yeah, but when you start to dig deeper, you see a pattern of allegations that suggest a more sinister side to this mentorship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we talk about the Flavor Camp, what specific stories stood out to you from the research you did?
Well, Usher's experience is pretty telling. I think he moved into Diddy's house when he was just 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
Like, think about that for a second. He was barely a teenager, surrounded by adults in a world of excess and temptation.
Yeah.
Years later, Usher talked about witnessing curious things during that time,
Well,
including orgies.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't really fully understand what he was seeing at the time.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the only one. You also included the stuff about Justin Bieber.
Right.
Diddy took him under his wing when Bieber was just 15.
Yeah.
Gave him a Lamborghini.
A Lamborghini, wow.
Made comments about it being a 15-year-old's dream.
It's interesting how these patterns repeat.
Like the Lamborghini, the lavish parties, the suggestive comments.
Yeah.
It all kind of points to a certain kind of power dynamic.
Yeah.
A grooming process, perhaps.
Yeah.
Bieber seemed comfortable with Diddy initially, but just a year later, he distanced himself.
Yeah.
It's like he grew up and started to see things in a different light.
Yeah. It's certainly unsettling. You'll have to wonder how many other young artists might have had similar experiences.
Right.
But felt too afraid or intimidated to speak out.
That's the thing about power dynamics, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in an industry like music where image is everything.
Right.
Speaking out can be career suicide.
Yeah.
So many people just remain silent, and it allows these patterns to continue unchecked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just young artists.
No.
We have to address these lawsuits filed against Diddy by several women.
Right.
These allegations go far beyond partying and suggestive comments.
Yeah, in 2019, Gina Hun publicly accused Diddy of physical abuse
Wow.
and claimed that he pressured her into an abortion.
Oh, wow.
Then, in 2023, Cassie Ventura, his long-term girlfriend,
Uh-huh.
filed a lawsuit detailing years of alleged physical and emotional abuse.
Oh, wow.
She claimed that he controlled her finances, her career, even what she wore,
Wow.
and she wasn't alone.
No.
Other women came forward with their own stories.
Yeah.
Liza Gardner and Joy Dickerson-Neal filed lawsuits alleging sexual assault.
Hmm.
A Jane Doe claims she was trafficked and assaulted by Diddy and his associates when she was only 17.
These are serious accusations.
Very serious.
It's important to remember that Diddy has denied all of these allegations.
Yeah.
But the sheer volume
Yeah.
and the detailed nature of these lawsuits can't be ignored.
Absolutely not.
So it raises the question, like, why now?
Mm-hmm.
Why are all of these accusations coming to light decades after these alleged events took place?
Well, I think the hashtag #MeToo movement has played a significant role here.
Right.
It's created a space for women to share their stories and hold powerful men accountable. Before hashtag #MeToo, so many women just felt silenced, fearing they wouldn't be believed or that speaking out would ruin their careers.
Yeah. And in Diddy's case, it wasn't just women coming forward.
That's right.
Lil Rod Jones, Diddy's former videographer, filed a lawsuit alleging sexual harassment,
Yeah.
drugging, and coercion.
Mm-hmm.
And Jones also made the explosive claim that Diddy had hidden cameras in his homes.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
He alleges that Diddy used these cameras to secretly record artists and powerful executives during parties where sex workers were present.
Man, if true, that's incredibly disturbing.
Yeah.
It's a blatant violation of privacy and consent,
Absolutely.
and it could have serious legal ramifications.
For sure. It goes beyond salacious gossip.
Yeah.
It enters the realm of criminal activity.
Yeah.
And remember, in March of 2024, Homeland Security agents raided Diddy's homes in LA and Miami.
Yeah.
While the reasons for the raids haven't been officially disclosed,
Mm-hmm.
it's widely believed that they were connected to these very allegations. And Diddy wasn't even in the country at the time of these raids.
Right.
His private jet was spotted in Antigua.
Wow.
So a lot of people believe that he was trying to avoid legal repercussions.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance he could face criminal charges?
Well, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
The legal process is complex,
Right?
and there's a high bar for proving criminal charges.
Yeah.
But the fact that Homeland Security is involved suggests that these allegations are being taken very seriously.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds.
It's a lot to process, and it definitely casts a shadow over Diddy's legacy. He's built an empire,
Yeah.
cultivated countless stars.
Mm-hmm.
But can that success coexist with these allegations?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is?
How do we reconcile the artist with the accusations?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you'll have to decide for yourself.
Well, before you do that,
Okay.
there's one more layer we need to add to this whole story.
Oh, there is?
You also provided research into some rather unsettling coincidences.
Oh.
And I think coincidences might not even be the right word, to be honest.
Yeah, you're talking about the deaths connected to Diddy throughout his career, aren't you?
Yeah,
It's an uncomfortable topic,
it is.
but I think it's worth examining. So yeah, let's unpack that.
So we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah, we have.
You know, allegations of misconduct, lawsuits, even federal investigations. But you also included some research on the deaths of several figures connected to Diddy.
Right.
And it's pretty unsettling.
Yeah, it's definitely a pattern that's hard to ignore.
Yeah.
You know, we've already talked about Biggie and Tupac,
Right.
but there are others.
Right.
Andre Harrell, the founder of Uptown Records, who helped launch Diddy's career, died suddenly in 2020.
Yeah.
Heavy D, a close friend and collaborator, passed away in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Kim Porter, Diddy's longtime partner, and the mother of 3 of his children. She died in 2018 from pneumonia.
Right.
But there were rumors
Yeah.
and speculation surrounding her death.
A lot of people suggested there was foul play.
Yeah. And just recently, Al-B.A., another prominent figure in the music industry who's worked closely with Diddy.
Yeah.
He came out of a coma
Oh, wow.
and made some pretty cryptic comments about Diddy.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Wow.
He hinted that Diddy was somehow involved in his health crisis, but he didn't really elaborate any further.
Ah.
So it's all very strange.
Yeah, it is.
And it definitely adds another layer of intrigue to this whole story.
I bet.
I have to admit, I'm even starting to feel a little creeped out.
I get it.
Do you think there's any truth to these rumors?
Mm-hmm.
Could Diddy actually be involved in these deaths?
Well, I think it's important to tread carefully here.
Yeah, sure.
We can't just jump to conclusions based on speculation and hearsay. There's no evidence to suggest that Diddy was involved in any of these deaths.
Right, but the timing, the connections,
Yeah.
it's all just so suspicious.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It's human nature to look for patterns
Mm-hmm.
and try to make sense of seemingly random events.
Yeah.
But we have to be careful not to let our imaginations run wild.
Okay, so where does this leave us?
Yeah.
Diddy's denying all the allegations, but the evidence against him seems to be mounting.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the future holds for him?
Well, legally speaking, he hasn't been charged with any crimes yet.
Okay.
But the Homeland Security investigation is still ongoing,
Right.
and there's always the possibility that more charges could be filed.
Okay, and what about his legacy? You know, he's
Uh-huh.
been a titan in the music industry for decades, but can he recover from this?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Can we
Yeah.
separate the art from the artist?
Yeah.
Can we still enjoy Diddy's music,
Yeah.
knowing what we know about these allegations?
It's a tough call.
It is.
I think it's up to each individual to decide what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
It's a matter of personal values and beliefs.
Yeah. Well, I think we've covered just about
I
everything.
think so, too.
From negligence to potential abuse, from a culture of silence to a possible fall from grace.
It's been a journey,
It
a
has.
roller coaster, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've gone from the highs of Diddy's success to the very lows of these accusations.
It really has been a ride.
And where we land ultimately is with more questions than answers.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the nature of a true deep dive, isn't it?
It is. It's about exploring the complexities, the nuances, the gray areas.
Right. It's about prompting thought, encouraging critical thinking,
Yeah,
and helping you, the listener, form your own conclusions.
exactly.
So there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Our deep dive into the world of Sean Diddy Combs.
It's a wild one.
It's a story that's still unfolding,
It's,
and who knows what the final chapter will hold.
Nobody knows.
But one thing's for sure.
What's that?
It's a story that forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about power, accountability, and the price of fame.
Well said.
Thanks for listening.